What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and I hope that y'all are ready for some infuriatingly entitled pricks, because it's time to dive into r/entitled people. Our first post for the day comes from Get Me Outta. Entitled Mum doesn't understand what a closing time is. Spoiler alerts, no one in the comments was on her side. Has anyone else felt like an inconvenience to the staff at blank library? For reasons beyond my control, we finally made it to the library 5 minutes before closing. The staff seemed irritated and frustrated, despite the fact that I'd rushed it with a toddler in tow and visibly pregnant. I told them I only needed a few minutes to grab a few bucks for my kids, and one staff member stood by, looking at his watch and mumbling that he wanted to go home. We were out of there at 6:03 p.m. Has anyone else experienced this? Unfortunately, this isn't the first time I've experienced this, and witnessed others being herded out impatiently by the staff. Well, maybe if you didn't get there 5 minutes before fucking closing, then they wouldn't hurry you out. They have families to get to as well. Our next post comes from VD4709300. Entitled Fuck demands he gets the game my sister just bought. Hi Reddit, this is my first post, and I'm not a native English speaker, and am on mobile, so bear with me. A little backstory. I was shopping with my family. I was 13 years at the time, in a town that's 6 hours from my home. We couldn't go back and forth so easily, so we rented a hotel room for a few days. In the last day, my mom was feeling pretty sick, so I stayed with her in the hotel and asked my sister if she could buy a Pokemon Soul Silver copy from GameStop, and that's when all this story happened. S is for sister, FC is for fat cunt, GE is for GameStop employee. Sister goes into the store. Hello, do you guys have Pokemon Soul Silver for the DS? GameStop employee. Hi, actually we only have one copy left. Do you want me to get it? Sister. Yes, please. It's for my brother and he asked if I could get it for him. GameStop employee gets the game and goes to my sister. Are you going to pay with cash or card? Fat cunt enters. You can't sell that to that woman? Sister, excuse me? Fat c***, you don't even know how hard that game is to get. Sister starts talking in a British accent. I'm from Mexico, by the way. Actually, I do. It's one of the first games from the Pokemon series, and I'm getting for my brother's birthday, and I'm already paying for it. My birthday was 3 months ago. Fat c***, but I have a GameStop members card, so I should get the game, not you. Sister turns to the GameStop employee. If you give this man the game, I'll make sure you get fired. A little aggressive, the guy had done nothing, but she was mad, okay? GameStop employee. Sure, it's going to be whatever the price was. My sister gets the game, meanwhile the fat is screaming a lot of bad things to her. I still remember how mad she was when she returned to the hotel, telling me that a fat son of a bitch that smelled like sewer had gone on a tantrum because she got the game before he even had the chance to ask for it. Ever heard of the phrase, first come, first serve, motherfucker? Our next post comes from Fat X Deanne. I just have to go in. New landlord gave me 1.5 hours notice on a work day to get my dogs out of the house for an inspection I knew nothing about. Thanks for the notice. Hi. I have to let an insurance inspector into your apartment at 12 today? Sorry, they didn't give me any notice. Joanna. I can't do today. I have to get the dogs. Is there any way he could do this afternoon? Around 6. No, he is going out of town and this is the only time. Can anyone come home on their lunch hour? Otherwise, I just have to go in. Sorry. How long will this take? 10 minutes approximately? What's the latest he can be here? I don't like the fact that this doesn't have a reply to it because I really want to know what happened after this. Our next post comes from The Coffee Snob 2007. Entitled Kid throws a tantrum over a stupid Chromebook. So, I go to a Catholic private school. Uh-oh. And I was privileged to be in a nice advanced math class with a friendly teacher. Let's call her NT for nice teacher. The EK, entitled kid, in this story, happens to throw temper tantrums over the tiniest things in the classroom. So, here's the cast. Entitled kid, me, nice teacher, and my best friend. Let's call her BF. This story happens in the best week in math that we ever had. NT let us play a hockey stadium planning game that had a bunch of math things in it, and it was called EverFi. Nice teacher had gotten us 4 Chromebooks and 3 iPads from the school library's device rental. I sat next to the collection of devices, and nice teacher said, "Okay guys, go get some devices, and you know the drill. Log in and get started." So I bolted up from my seat and grabbed a Chromebook, and my best friend and my other 2 acquaintances grabbed some as well. But entitled kid decided that he needed a Chromebook, so he said in a whiny voice, "Hey, I want that!" To which I replied, "Sorry, first come, first serve." And he replies with a tantrum, "Holy crap, what did I say a couple stories ago?" Oh boy, here we go again. I just watch him and bite my tongue to try and not explode with laughter. And nice teacher said to entitled kid, if you want a Chromebook so bad, go downstairs and ask name of librarian for one." Which made him super embarrassed, as most of the class right now were clearly trying to hold back their laughter. He just yanked an iPad from the charging dock and stomped back to his desk. I happily flipped open my Chromebook and clacked the keys super hard to make sure he heard me having a grand time with the Chromebook he wanted. So, entitled kid, if you are reading this, remember, you don't get everything you want. Our next post comes from Pumpkin32465. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So, Blank said you took some pills while he was there. Yeah, I took my epilepsy medication. I prefer to be conscious instead of on the floor. I don't appreciate you doing drugs in front of my child. You know, medication is just a crutch. You need to show Blank that being well is just mind over matter. Oh god, I bet this bitch is an anti-vaxxer as well. Yeah, let's just not take my epilepsy medication so I can die on your fucking floor in front of your kid. That's totally better than me taking my medication. Our final post for the day comes from Cat and Dog 5. Entitled lady drives in my side of the road to pass traffic to reach a gas station. She tries to blame the accident on me just driving home. So, this story takes place a few years ago, and it still boggles my mind to this day. There is a TLDR at the bottom. Setting, 2-lane road, one side heavy traffic. My side clear until idiot driver appears. There is a gas station and a shopping center within a 1-minute walk. Cast, entitled lady, she who shall not drive. Me, 18 with attitude. C1, pushover. C2, no nonsense taker. And on to the story. I was driving home from work around 6 p.m. right around traffic hour. Luckily for me, my lane is empty while the other side was dead stop traffic from everyone trying to leave the town shopping center. I did not think much until I saw a big SUV pop out over the double yellow right in my direction. I managed to move over the side just enough for a passing blow rather than hitting them dead on. Luckily, this was in a 25-mile-per-hour zone, so no one was going that fast. We both pull over to some parking lots on the side. We assess the damage. Luckily, my hatchback only had a broken headlight and a dent in the side panel. Entitled lady's car had half of her bumper come off and a lot more internal damage to her car. She then comes up to me, asking if I'm okay. I said, yeah. Entitled lady offers to call the cops. We made some small talk as we waited. A single cop shows up. He looked pretty young, but I didn't think much of it as he was taking my statement. When Cop 1 started to take entitled lady's statement, I called my parents to let them know I was going to be a bit late and that I was okay. I get off the phone and overheard the following. Entitled lady, Cop 1, how is so-and-so doing? I haven't seen them in a long time. Cop 1, oh, they are good. How is your daughter doing? This set off alarm bells in my head. I approached Cop 1 slowly and a large smile on my face. I honestly have no idea how I was able to stay calm. Me, hi, sorry to intrude, but do you two happen to know each other? Cop 1 blushes and entitled lady gives me a death glare. He looks between her and me, very obviously uncomfortable. Cop 1, mumbling, yeah, she's a family friend. Entitled lady, it shouldn't matter. He is taking our statements. Entitled lady is getting visibly more upset by this and starts glaring at Cop 1. I give Cop 1 a pointed look. He looks at the ground and then back at me. Cop 1, I should probably call another officer. Entitled lady looks at him shocked. I cut her off before she could say anything. Me, please do. Cop 1 shuffles to his car and I walk away from entitled lady, not trusting her or myself not to escalate the situation. I watch her from a distance nagging Cop 1. They were whispering, so I couldn't hear them, but it wasn't hard to guess she was complaining to him. Cop 2 shows up and asks what happens. Entitled Lady starts to blame me for the accident. Entitled Lady: Cop 2, I was low on gas and there was so much traffic. I thought I could sneak on the other side since the gas station was right there. She appeared out of nowhere. I think she was going over the speed limit. I was dumbfounded that she really tried to blame me for the accident. Cop 2 just gives her a slow nod before taking my statement. He then gives Cop 1 a hard stare and asks him to go back to the cop car. I get a little worried and try hard to ignore Entitled Lady trying to drill my head with her eyes. When they come back, Cop 2 tells Entitled Lady off for driving on the wrong side of the road instead of sitting in traffic. Entitled Lady was shocked and tried to argue again, claiming that her insurance would go up. Cop 2 said that wasn't his problem and asked if I needed a ride. I thanked him and declined as my parents were on their way. He told me to be sure to pick up the accident report right away. In the end, Entitled Lady was found at full fault and the insurance paid for my repairs. TLDR, Entitled Lady crosses double yellow lines to skip traffic. We hit and is friends with Cop 1. I call them out and Cop 1 later called for Cop 2. Entitled Lady then tries to blame me for speeding despite being in the right lane. Entitled Lady is shocked when Cop 2 finds her at fault and insurance pays for my damages. Well, alright my dashing dudes, that's gonna do it for today's episode of r/Entitled People, and I guess that intro was substantiated by these stories. If you liked what I did, be sure to drop a sub, a like, and a comment down below with what you'd like me to read next. Links to the stories will be in the description as always. Also, to everyone who has subscribed in the past few weeks, I cannot say thank you enough. It really humbles me and honors me to see that you guys are really supporting what I am doing. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.